Because what I've been hearing all week is like, and not from like serious people, but from a lot
Yeah.
of the people on Twitter, it's just like, oh, Microsoft's going to kill it. Like in our Twitter group with a lot of the serious Palantir folks, we looked at it. We're like, okay, it's interesting. We want to do a little more digging. We're like, it's kind of validating the space. We were like, we don't really think it's the death of Palantir, but a lot of people are like, oh, Microsoft's coming to kill them. So I guess in your words, can you explain what has Microsoft introduced? You just did an amazing video on it. So everyone check out Code's channel in the description to check out his video. And why is Microsoft introducing this?
Well, I don't think Microsoft is directly responding to Palantir. It's like I was saying earlier, like the whole industry is bringing up data mesh now. Like half of
what is data mesh?
So it's a paradigm shift from this idea that there will be this like central data warehouse where everyone goes and gets their analytics data. To this idea that like teams are going to have autonomy and they're going to produce analytics feeds that can then go through a platform where those feeds can be governed and consumed. There's no like central data warehouse, right? That platform should provide the ability to transform and manipulate feeds that you want to look at and be able to do so in a way that's governed and produce the data in a format you want to see it in, right? So there's no like predefined way you look at the data. There's no pre-aggregated way. You're consuming analytics feeds that are pre-approved for you to look at for a specific purpose for a specific period of time. And that is brand new. I mean, that shit is like totally cutting edge. And in the video, I showed a clip from Fowler, who's like a legend. Martin Fowler is like, I've studied a lot of his work for over a decade. The guy's freaking incredible. But like in 2021, they were saying this is bleeding edge, but Palantir built Foundry for this purpose. They're a decade ahead, bro. Like they had this shit 10 years ago. We're still catching up to them. But I don't believe that Microsoft is doing this in response to Palantir as much as they are all of the tech leaders, people like me who are sitting there going, we need this kind of a system and we need it now because the central data warehouse is collapsing. SaaS is multiplying at a rate we can't even control. We need to be able to get that data into our own data, like into our own ability to analyze it, not have it stuck in these silos out here that other parties control. Hopefully go more first party and get rid of some of these SaaS applications. 70% of an organization's software is SaaS right now.
Right.
That's fucking crazy, bro. Like if you think about each one of those is some data silo sitting out there that some third party controls, unless maybe they offer an enterprise plan where you get to control the data. And what that leads to is this really disjointed experience. So if you're a person who works in a company like that, you're bouncing between apps all day long, and like if you're in like a really shitty place, like you're trying to analyze that data and you're jumping between like 15 apps to get one answer. That is not an efficient process, right? So like the industry has basically said, we want a platform like Foundry, but they don't know it yet. They don't know that they want that. They're circling
and that's
around
what
this
Carp
idea.
Means when he says we're solving a problem that it's hard. That's why it's hard to
100%.
sell. They don't
100%. I feel like in that video I offered a lot of evidence to support that claim. When you have like a guru like that explaining the need for something that they have already delivered, they're like, yeah, they're legit. They did solve the problems we don't yet know we need. But there's a lot of risk there because if you watch Microsoft's sales pitch, right? Really compelling sales pitch, right? Like who here, if anyone in the chat like works in tech or has a product company or e-commerce site or whatever, one of the biggest things we do is we look at the analytic data, we run A/B tests, and we collapse A/B tests around which tests perform better, and determining like where do we put the offer, where do we put the paywall, like what profile should we present this offer to, and we're doing that all day long, and we're doing it through all these various products. It's like 3, 4, 5 different products that we're trying to pull all that data through. And Microsoft just made the case of why they can be a unified data platform that can drive all of that. That's powerful,
Right.
That's like a major use case that everyone in our industry can wrap their brain around immediately and go, that can 10x my revenue, if I get this right.
And that's a direct competitor to Foundry, right?
It's a direct competitor to Foundry because Foundry is meant to be that data mesh that can solve all those problems. But the way they talk about it, it doesn't bring it down to a level in which the average person sitting in a company understands what to do with it. I think that's the problem. If you look back on my Foundry for Gaming series, right? The first thing I said when I saw this, I was like, this would make an amazing analytics platform. Replace Google Analytics, replace Heap.io, replace Optimize, replace fucking Amplitude. I can do product testing. I can drive website engagement, all under one platform where I own the data. No more SDKs from all these various third parties. I don't have to deal with their shitty libraries and all the invasive code they put in there. I don't have to get their data out through BigQuery or these other tools. I'll own it all. And Foundry gives me all the tools where my CPO or my CMO and their team can make all the reports they want, segmented the way they want, you know? But like, why isn't Palantir fucking doing that? You know, like it drives me nuts because I'm like, Microsoft comes out with a thin, shitty version of Foundry, and the first thing they do is present a way in which they can sell it effectively, you know? So that is frustrating on some level to me. I'm like, and it's a shitty platform. I mean, like I went through it. It's not, let me rephrase that. It's a orchestration engine for a lot of existing products. So like if you use existing products in Azure and through Microsoft, the thing that they've done is build this orchestration layer to make all those things more like a first party integration, right? And but the issue is it's like you're kind of still stuck with everything Azure, you know? And that's not where we want to get to. It's like we want everything SaaS. We want everything streaming. We want every database, all the datas, right? And we don't want to be tied to a cloud provider when we do it, you know? Because what's happening is like the cloud providers they kind of own you in a way, you know? You're so tied to them. You're so dependent on them. And if we go this next mile and become so dependent on them for the data mesh, there's no way you ever get away from them. Like you will be tied to them forever. And so like, I think that Palantir is offering a superior offering because with Apollo, I can run that same data mesh, but I'm not tied to the way that Google does it. I'm not tied to the way that Azure does it. Completely independent, and I can flip a switch and turn off their workloads. That's an incredible amount of leverage to bring.
Right.
Remember Lyft? Do you know how much Lyft was spending? I told you last pod. You know, over $300 million with AWS, and that was after a negotiation, right? That's some big money, you know. Do you think if you can't shift that workload, you have no choice, you know?
Do you think Microsoft introduced this to? Do you think they think this business intelligence Palantir competitor can make? I think Palantir is going to do like 1.9 billion in revenue. Do you think it can make that money, or do you think it's just a gateway funnel to get people to buy more compute?
I think it's a gateway funnel for them to buy more compute, which is why Palantir doesn't see them as a competitor. The issue is that those products are sticky, and if you are offering a similar product in that space and Microsoft beats you to it, like Microsoft just wants the fucking customer on their compute. They don't care if it's Palantir or them, right? But like if the customer goes, you're a duplicate of this service, I don't need you,
right?
That's a problem, you know? That's a big problem. And that's why timing in the market matters, you know? Like you have to time this shit right, man. If you come to market too late and like your competitors already beat you for the killer use case, even if it's like 1/10 of what you know they'll need in the future, it doesn't matter because they're not going to use you. They're going to continue to use this other vendor because the cost of switching is so high. Remember I was saying earlier, like if we go this last mile for the data mesh, you're going to be stuck with that cloud provider forever. I'm not making that up. You know, once they own that data layer, doesn't matter what else is on top of it, you know, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong about that, but like, that's the way I see it. And that's why I've been like, so trying to light a fire and be like, you need to get this shit out to people. You need to get developers building on it because we're already asking these questions. The architects are already coming to the table and be like, we need the data mesh. And 6 months ago, no one knew what a fucking data mesh was, you know? So shit moves fast in tech, man. It's like, boom. All of a sudden, everything shifts. And it's usually because of these thought leaders, you know, who come out and start pitching these ideas.
Like you.
Hey, man, no one listens to me. People listen to Martin Fowler. So but yeah, I mean, I was at the forefront of that, but so were a lot of other people. It's just like I can see the wave coming, you know, and like if you're not on it, it doesn't matter how much better your yacht is that's surfing this other wave over here. No one's going to get on party with you, you know?
And you use Microsoft's smaller yacht. Why are you saying it's like not a shittier version, but not like Palantir's? Just Palantir's spent 20 years making theirs and Microsoft just cooked it up? Like,
no, it's it's more like, well, yeah, that. I mean, okay, Microsoft is just trying to solve this one layer, you know, this one data mesh layer. And it only integrates a small fraction of the data, but it might be the data they care about, you know? Like if I'm an Azure customer and I can do analytics on it and I can drive A/B testing and I don't need all these other, I'm not thinking that I need the whole, you know, entire organization on this thing. And I'm not thinking I need to consolidate SaaS yet. Just thinking like, wow, this solves all my analytics problems and I can drive better engagement and revenue. They're not looking, they don't even know they want to be on your yacht yet. You know, they're just like looking for like snacks at the snack bar on the yacht they're already on and be like, hey, this looks better, you know? And it solves an immediate problem. Whereas like Palantir, it's really hard to convince people sometimes like to take but the best analogy I can give you is like, back in the day when Amazon first came out with a revolutionary product called cloud computing, Andy Jassy was selling 3 fucking things. He was selling S3, IAM, and fucking EC2, right? And they solved real problems for people who could reduce their compute costs. Now, if he had come to the market with over 200 fucking products, people like me would have told him to fuck off, you know? Like, we just couldn't, there's no way we could wrap our brain around that. And yeah, that's where we wanted to be 10 years from then, 15 years from then. But like, the issue is you have to find a way to onboard people who aren't ready. It's like the Matrix, they don't want to be set free. they want to stay in where they're at, and if you try and red pill them, they're going to tell you to fuck off. And so like, I think that at the end of the day, you have to meet people where they are and offer them a compelling vision for where they can get to, but at the same time, let them wrap their brain around the baby steps, And I think that's been the challenge with Foundry is like, it's so new. The terms are so disjointed from anything that people deal with on a day-to-day. It really takes like someone who sees where we're going in 10 or 15 years to be like, that's the product of the future. Whereas like, you need to know what the product of today is,
How do they deal with this new Microsoft threat now? Is it a sales question? Is it a product question?
I'm not super worried. Because the quality of the product right now looks like a one-off. Like, I don't know if you watched the video I put out, but
I watched some of it at the end. Yeah.
That KP, I think it's KPMG. I don't know the company.
Yeah, it's KPMG. Yep.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like they did a consulting engagement with them and found a way to like bring everything under a single pane of glass and do like an orchestration engine for them. And now they're trying to turn it into a product. So I hope all the fucking analysts who call Palantir a consultancy also call Microsoft a consultancy, because it's the same fucking logic. But like, I know they won't. But to me, it just sounds like it's in beta. It's not like because there isn't even like pricing or how you try it or like on the site. It's just like they show that one video from KPMG. There's hardly any info on the product, and they just talk about all the other products that are part of it. I don't think it's a fully baked product. I think it's like probably a private beta, a one-off, and they're trying to figure out how to productize it. But I think maybe are getting on top of the industry trends and wanted to say something at their big, yearly convention. That's my personal opinion. I don't have any like inside information about that, but it's not a threat, like in terms of like it being on par. Where it's a threat is Microsoft CEO is pretty good at selling shit,
Yeah.
I mean, his. Did you watch the 1 minute speech, like the little 1 minute condensed one I did in the first video, where it's just him explaining the platform?
No,
how it can drive. You have to watch that. So it's a little 1 minute pitch on how.
I could pull it up.
What's that?
I could pull it up right now. It's in your news video, right?
Pull it up.
Yeah.
It's there's this little 1 minute pitch he does. It's called he just explains the intelligent data platform, and he does this pitch where it's all about driving e-commerce, and how you can actually drive better purchases.
He wasn't talking about German philosophy in the pitch.
No, he wasn't talking about German philosophy. It's like duh, that actually resonates with people. And so yeah, if you skip to where he gives the interview, don't worry about the intro crap, musical. Yeah, just go ahead and do that part. People get frustrated with the music. There we go.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. As promised, we go.
Deep dive. You got an echo, man. To pricing.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn my mic off.
No, it's the one. It's not this one. It's the one I did yesterday. Before that, it's the one where there's a big explosion. There you go. The explosion one. No, that's the wrong one. That one. There you go. Go to where you see that dude standing there. There you go. That's it. There you go. Perfect.
I'm very excited to announce the Microsoft Intelligent Data Platform. There is no better example of why this matters than e-commerce. Take, for example, a shopping website that needs to create personalized experiences, including product recommendations. Real-time personalization means the website needs to capture new interests from current sessions and instantly match historical data to online session data in real time and at limitless scale. It's absolutely mission critical during peak events like Cyber Monday. The site needs to connect and correlate customers with products, inventory, suppliers, logistics, and even social sentiment, all while respecting customer data privacy. They can build their application on Cosmos DB or SQL Hyperscale. With Synapse Link, all committed transactions across these databases are now available in real-time analytics in Synapse. With Azure ML, they can easily retrain models based on this real-time learning and close the loop by deploying those models back onto the application. And with Power BI, insights can be shared across the company. All of this can happen within just a few seconds. So the website can offer the right product to the right customer at the right time. And of course, your service has to ensure it's compliant with GDPR and other privacy regulations. And that's why we have deeply integrated all of our data services with Microsoft Purview, enforcing governance across all these data assets wherever they reside. This is about bringing together all of our data products into one architectural fabric so you as developers can shift your focus to your creativity, to what you can uniquely do instead of spending time integrating data services and governance.
All right, there you go. That's it, right? That resonates, bro. Like, I know that will drive business value for me. And like, we're already dealing with these problems like all the time. We've got like 15 different products trying to run A/B testing scenarios and figure out like I said, when do we present the paywall? When do we present the special offer? When do we do this? That shit drives revenue. That's attached to major dollars, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Palantir come out with a pitch like that?
No, I can't say.
Like, their product's like 50,000 light years beyond that, and like they could do that in their fucking sleep. Like, that's where I get frustrated. It's like, bro, like that's an obvious no-brainer, you know? Like, why aren't you guys making that case? And that's where I just get frustrated, because it's like, then this inferior product that, I mean, let's be honest, like when I started diving into like the product, because I hadn't looked at Microsoft stuff in a long time. I just am not a fan, but like, it was good to see that Microsoft hadn't changed. I was like, oh, you're still the same shitty version of everything else you've always been, you know, with like a host of fucking, like, let's just squash superior technology in the name of us, you know, revenue or whatever. But like, terrible, like it's a really shitty product in the sense that like none of those products are that great. I don't think they're superior in any way to.
It's like LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn should destroy Twitter, but it's LinkedIn.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but that, you know, like that dude can sell. Yeah. I was psyched. I was like, really? You know?
Well, he was talking about e-commerce. I've never seen Palantir talk about e-commerce.
You don't understand, man. Like, it's not e-commerce. It's A/B testing. Okay, it's product development. This is what product teams do for a living, you know? They're all obsessed with trying to figure out those optimizations. It's not just e-commerce. Like, that's a low-hanging fruit scenario, but every product officer who'd watch that fucking video knows exactly what I saw. So, like, just trust me on this one. Yes, that's what we need. We need something to drive the engagement. You know, we need something to drive the purchases. Where do I put the special offer? What's my drop-off rate in the funnel? How do I tune it? If I can do that through Azure in real time, that is a breakthrough. That's a 0-to-1 move as far as they're concerned, you know. But like, that's where you got to find product market fit. Dude, Foundry does that out of the box, like, and does 8,000 other things that bring the rest of your organization into that platform. But it's the thing is, you cannot. Sometimes you have to speak the language of the customer. It's like, yeah, I know they want to like drive the market, create the market, but sometimes you got to, like I was saying earlier, you got to meet people where they are.